Hello and welcome. I'm Robin Swan, the Director of Government Affairs with the Winter Park Chamber of Commerce, and this is the candidate interview series. We are hosting candidates who are running for offices here in the greater Winter Park and Orlando area in Orange County, and who will be participating in our political mingle being held July 29th as a virtual event, and it is a straw poll highlighting all of the candidates' strengths, their hopes, and their desires. Today, we're thrilled to have with us Vincent Falcone. Vincent is running for Circuit Judge, Group 39 in Orange County. Welcome, Vincent, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Robin. Thank you to the Chamber for the opportunity. I'm happy to be here.
Wonderful. So I'll be asking you 3 questions today. The questions have been shared with you in advance so that we can hear everything that you'd ever want to say on these topics. So question number 1 is, what is your primary motivation for running for this position?
Sure. So I've wanted to be a judge for as long as I can remember. And for me, what really draws me to the role of judge is that it's a role of public service. Judges are there to resolve some of the most important disputes that our community faces. And right now I'm a partner at King Blackwell Zender in Wormouth. It is a great firm. I've got partners who I love, a practice that I love, but I believe the role of a judge is a position where you can do real good for our community. And that's something that draws me to it. So in my practice, one of my biggest practice areas is complex commercial litigation. I represent some of our local businesses and business owners in sorting through what's often their most complicated and important disputes. And that's a service that I'm honored to perform for my clients. And I've seen the difference that a good judge can make for my own clients. As I mentioned, it's often their biggest issues. The business could be at stake, the business owner's reputation could be at stake, and similar gravity of the issues is at stake in a lot of different areas of law. It could be a personal injury case where someone's got a very serious injury, a criminal case where someone's liberty is at stake, or you have the victim of a very serious crime. And I've seen the difference that a good judge can make. A judge should be a public servant, should not be condescending or dismissive, should be humble and hear out both sides, be fair and respectful of both sides, and work hard to reach a reasoned decision that faithfully applies the law. And if that happens, in my experience, the parties can at least understand and respect the process. They may not be happy. They may want to appeal because you've got a winner and a loser. But if you have a judge who does those things, who hears out both sides, is fair, respectful, works hard to reach a timely decision, and gives the parties a reasoned decision in their cases, they can respect the process. And those are qualities that I would bring to the bench. Those are things that motivate me to run for this position.
Thank you. And can you tell us what else would uniquely distinguish you from the other candidates in this particular race?
My practice, which I love and is very interesting day to day, involves a variety of different and often very complicated types of issues. I talked a little bit about my commercial work, and in those cases, I'm often dealing with an industry that I may know nothing about going into the case, so I need to learn about it very quickly. I've also done some voting rights work. I'm proud to have been part of the team that represented the League of Women Voters of Florida in Common Cause in challenging the 2012 redistricting plans in Florida. I also do legal malpractice defense work. I represent some of the local lawyers and law firms in town when they get involved in litigation. And that kind of work also often involves areas of law that I might not deal with on a day-to-day basis. It could be a probate case, could be a criminal defense case, could be a transactional matter, and I need to learn a new area of law very quickly to be able to represent my clients. That's what I do on a day-to-day basis. And to transition that to the role of judge, our circuit judges in Orange and Osceola County deal with all different kind of cases, whether it's domestic violence, juvenile, criminal cases, civil cases, family law cases, probate cases, no lawyer going into the role of judge is going to have significant experience in all of those different areas. This is just not the way legal practice works. But in my case, I'm used to jumping from area to area of law very quickly, learning new things, and I think that that is something that would serve the community well if I were elected judge, as I'd rotate from division to division.
Wonderful, thank you. So, and if elected, are there any other ways that you would want to positively affect the office and the constituency who you would serve?
Absolutely, and I want to talk about what I think are two of the biggest challenges facing our legal community and judiciary right now. The first is really the impact of the coronavirus pandemic. In Orange and Osceola counties, in normal times, our judges have very heavy caseloads, very clogged dockets, and limited resources to sort through those cases. The pandemic has made that situation a lot worse. We haven't been able to have jury trials. There have been very few bench trials or evidentiary hearings, and fewer hearings, period. So the caseload has grown and grown. One thing that I would be committed to do if I were elected to the bench is to not only work hard and manage my cases closely to make sure you're working through that backlog, but to look at technology as a way to help with that. And our judiciary, especially locally, has gotten very good at using video conferences, teleconferences, and other ways, remote work to work through cases while the courtroom may be closed and you may not be able to have in-person hearings in many cases. So I'd be committed to looking not only locally at what's worked well, but across the nation at what other court systems have used in terms of technology to work through cases during the pandemic. I think that's going to be very important as we come out of the pandemic and work through the backlog of cases to come up with novel ways to confront that caseload. The other issue, which is really a longer term problem, is equal access to justice. In Florida and Central Florida in particular, with the nature of our economy, you have a large portion of our population who just cannot afford private counsel. It's not just a stretch, not just a burden, it's out of reach, they can't do it. And if you have situations where one side's represented, one side's unrepresented, and you're not careful, there can be an imbalance there, and it could affect the outcome of the case. An unrepresented party may not know the legal process, may not know what a legal argument is versus a practical argument. And I think judges need to be careful to confront and to recognize that problem. And ways that you can do it, ways that I would do it, would be to educate the parties, to explain the process, and also to work with bar organizations and pro bono organizations to come up with programs that may be able to provide pro bono lawyer assistance to unrepresented parties who are in need. And I'll just mention briefly the Federal Bar Association, which I've been involved in. I'm president-elect of the local chapter. There's a program like that in the federal system. So I'd look at programs like that to help improve the quality of access to justice in our system.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Vincent, for joining us today. And we look forward to seeing you at the Political Mingle. And that's the Political Mingled, our 2020 event in anticipation of November's elections and August primary elections. The virtual Political Mingle will be held July 29th. It's a virtual event taking place from 6 o'clock to 7:30 in the evening. Our presenting sponsor will be Charter Communications, and our supporting sponsor is the University of Central Florida. You can access registration and tickets by registering online at the Winter Park Chamber's website, winterpark.org. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.